6 things that show why it is difficult to win the election this time. Donald Trump has announced his intention to run for the presidency for the 3rd time. This is a very rare attempt by an outgoing leader in the United States to re-enter the White House after losing the election. The aides of President Trump say that this announcement, and this loud campaign, will be seen more than the one that took place in 2016 according to reports, and the way President Trump is known. In 2016, Trump defeated his Republican rivals and then narrowly defeated Democrat Hillary Clinton, who was seeking to win a 3rd consecutive term in the White House for her party. It was an unlikely achievement, but one that demonstrated President Trump's undeniable potential as a candidate. Mr. Trump, he has an unparalleled mind for considering issues as important to grassroots conservatives. His unpredictable provocative style can manipulate news sources and make his competitors stand out. He has a loyal following and can galvanize absentee Americans, and after 4 years in power, many of his supporters hold positions of power within the Republican Party. However, there is every reason to believe that the task ahead will be very difficult. His record while running. 8 years ago, President Trump was a political blank. While Trump has had major policy successes in his 4 years in office, including tax cuts and criminal justice reform, he has also had significant failures. Republicans will remember his inability to overturn Democratic health reform and his repeated promises of infrastructure investment that failed to materialize. And then there is Trump's handling of the coronavirus crisis, which could open him up to opposition on many fronts. Democrats have long criticized how responsible he was, but there are some on the right who believe he went too far in supporting the government's efforts to combat the corona epidemic. He will have to defend how he handled the end of his presidency, and his role in the January 6th attack on the White House. The images of that day, with supporters waving Trump banners amid tear gas as they stormed the White House and temporarily halted the peaceful transition of power, will not be easily forgotten. The first election showed that what happened that day with the words and actions of President Trump in the weeks before it can still affect the behavior of voters. Many Republican candidates who strongly supported President Trump's refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election were defeated. Many of them did poorly in their states. One reason Trump appears eager to launch another presidential bid is because it will allow him to effectively frame his many criminal investigations as part of a larger political vendetta. While that may work for public relations purposes, President Trump's legal exposure in these cases appears to be true. The former president is currently defending himself against a criminal investigation into election tampering in Georgia, a civil fraud case targeting his New York business empire, a defamation case involving allegations of sexual harassment, and a federal investigation into his role in the attack on the Capitol and his post. One of these investigations could lead to his arrest. This action, if he were arrested, would dominate the headlines and at least temporarily disrupt the campaign plans of President Trump while it is clear that it may affect him, and we know that. Worst-case scenario would include large financial penalties or going to jail. If President Trump wants the presidency in 2024, he may have to go through the governor of Florida, because the governor of Florida may emerge as the consensus nominee among party members who are not interested in giving Mr. Trump another chance to be their president. On the eve of Trump's presidential announcement, the conservative group released a series of polls that showed Trump trailing Ron DeSantis in a close election between Republican voters in Iowa and New Hampshire. In those states they tend to vote earlier in the Republican nomination process. DeSantis also led the way with 26 points at Florida and 20 at Georgia. In all these states, the number of votes for President Trump was very low in previous surveys. If he wins the presidency, President Trump will be 78 years old when he is sworn in. And although that is Joe Biden's age when he entered the White House, it could make him the second oldest president in American history. Age takes its toll in different ways on different people, but the increasing burdens of age are inevitable. There is no guarantee that President Trump will be able to lead the United States once again because he will be old. Apart from all those accusations, President Trump gained great fame after the attempt to shoot him while he was campaigning for the presidency in 2024. Even those who did not like him found themselves criticizing the government and its intelligence officers, CIA and FBI officers, by showing a great weakness in the questioning of a great leader like President Trump.